Okay, this video will attempt to show you how to use the Adapter GUI to help you debug issues with Excel spreadsheets or online Google Sheets. In the example today, I'm going to use an Excel spreadsheet, so I can show you a new feature of how to load a sheet from the disk, and then maybe we'll get into how to save the sheet in the disk, and then we'll probably divide this into 3 videos. Another video to show you how to begin using the text file that you saved as a sheet repo. So here we will start. Here is you're familiar with the OpenGL canvas, the services running, and their OSGI dependencies. And this is the behavior master demo sheet. This was small GUI created to give us some buttons to press. So we have a larger GUI, which I just clicked the admin show GUI to show this. And from here, we're going to use a menu called Load Repo From. We can pick all of these, the Google Doc, the local file, but I am going to choose a file. Our testful is going to load these two recursively. So let's open up testful, which is a XLS spreadsheet that we can open and inspect, by the way. What we have to really do is take a look at our directory model sheet we loaded. Is this our testful on disk? Okay, so the drag is working. No, it's not this session. So the important stuff here. This is the entire repo written out to a namespace qualified text file. I am going to Control A to copy, Control C to gather the whole thing, and we're going to paste it into a now we're also going to save this without namespace prefixes. We're using all C names where possible. And so I'm going to widen this out a little bit so we can get to the Save Repo button. I might have to move these inward. Okay, so Save Repo. I am going to save this as Workbook Testful, because is going to export as a turtle file. Okay, so let's look on the disk and see what we have here. Save to OGL web. Okay, there is our workbook testful.turtle file. Okay. All right, so so when this repo was saved, it took the name of the original XLSX spreadsheet in the time I saved it on here. And then it listed all the namespaces used in each of the Jenna models that were saved in the repo. That's what these are here. Okay. Thing in its default mode is to read a directory model out of the XLS spreadsheet, in which it did. The directory model tells of the contents of the repo where to come from. So, for example, we had told it to, up there in the directory model, the camera sheet, and there's the information that created the camera sheet. Now all this information here is prefixed basically by this unless there's another C name specified. So camera sheet's interesting, but our goal is to see if we can find errors in our sheet. Looks like maybe I did. It's not every time we see this symbol, that doesn't mean there's an error. I just knew before the demo started that I had some issues right around this part of the file. Depending on how well you're used to seeing, how well you're good at you are reading Turtle, I can already see that this was a malformed statement. I believe has param age. What? Yeah, there is something missing here. Has param age. Okay, here we go. It would be, yeah, it's age 3rd grade, has string value. Yeah, I'm going to use a string here, even though I don't have to. We'll go ahead and say int value. You can see that little piece of data was missing. 30. 3rd graders might be 8. Okay, anyhow. All right, 3rd grader who says test 1, 2, 3. Well, this probably wasn't correct. And the reason it looks that way is I had thought that by default, when we read in a model that we are in URI mode. We don't expect to see strings there. So in the initial workbook, which I'm about to open, which is, let's take a peek at where this came from. This came from guards. So I bet you that would be in Behavior Master demo. So it is. Table editing. I won't spend much more time diagnosing and fixing this, but it certainly gave me some work to do. I could see that from the workbook, it basically wait for test 1, 2, 3 that uses filters. Oh, here we go. Okay, filters. Filter is, yeah, right here. So anything in this column is going to assume to be a string. So I could have done this without the quotes, but I wouldn't have known that I had done that unless I had remembered or I had looked inside of this in the turtle file. Okay, it has param string, so param string. Well, okay, so now I'm looking at this and I said, see that P user test 1, 2, 3 set. Well, that's literal is not anywhere to be found. I'm assuming, well, I know that it belongs there. So in order for user said test 1, 2, 3 and was a 3rd grader to be true, these two conditions have to be met. Users actually said it and they were 8 years old. So the usefulness of Turtle as a text file. Next video will show us how to load this text file as a repo. Right now we're going to edit this in Excel spreadsheet. We're going to save it, and then we are going to see if that little fix was fixed. Let's find our parameter. User said test 1, 2, 3.